Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring everything back together. I'm very excited about this next part of the conference. We at the Witty have this fantastic opportunity to introduce you to history through dance this afternoon. And I hope that you all will find this performance moving and thought-provoking as well as historical. And I'm so excited to introduce to you all the House of Glitter, the internationally touring dance company, performance lab, preservation society, who is working closely with us here in Texas to create a new and much-needed performance project, the Historical Fantasy of Texas. Their art is a collective rehearsal of liberation, and their choreography aims to reach beyond the stage, into the streets, into our homes, institutions, and into a collective future that is centered around care, freedom, and justice. The House of Glitter, and that's spelled H-A-U-S, won the National Dance Award through the New England Foundation for the Arts in 2022 for the activist dance opera they created while living in the home of a notorious slave ship commander for 3 years. 3 years, I couldn't imagine like living in the home of a slave ship commander, a notorious one at that, for 3 years. The work to actually go through that experience, to be in that space, and then to try to own it, right? To remove that stain from it must have been quite the process. So they lived there for 3 years as a public occupation, creative protest, and historic intervention. They performed and presented their work at the Smithsonian's National Museum for African American History and Culture, or the Blacksonian, for the first national convening of descendants of American slavery, as well as across New England, New York, the DMV, which is Washington, D.C. area, New Orleans, Chicago, San Francisco, Costa Rica, West Africa, and of course, here in South Texas. You can sign their national petition to transform the racist national monument dedicated to the notorious slavery ship commander, Esek Hopkins. And we hope that you will follow their work and invite the House of Glitter to collaborate in your communities to join forces in their mission to uplift historic and cultural preservation initiatives across the globe, to shine a spotlight through performance on marginalized and erased histories, and to create community-grounded artistic projects to rehearse for the world that we want to live in. I've had the opportunity to experience their art firsthand, and I'm so thrilled to welcome to the stage House of Glitter. Please give them a round of applause, and feel free to follow them at houseofglitter.org.
Hello. My name is Steven. You might have seen me floating around here and there. My house and my closest family and friends call me Sen, but y'all are free to call me Steven. My pronouns are he, him, ze, them, and I'm hailing from Providence, Rhode Island. I have a script, which is fresh, so I'm gonna stick to that and use my phone. Please place your expectations elsewhere. So, a little introductory, I'm one of 5 co-directors / co-founders. We don't have one director, one president. We are all presidents, directors. We share this gift amongst each other. And first off, I want to thank Ron, obviously, and for such a generous introduction. And thanks for everyone here, honestly, who made this convening possible. We are so honored to be here with such incredible people, and we've been feeling so inspired and so motivated, especially these past couple of days, and we're excited to share a little bit about ourselves with you. But before we do that, as House of Glitter fashion, something that we like to do collectively is share breaths. So if you would, I'll invite us to share some collective breaths together. Before you do that, do what you need to make yourself maybe just 10% more comfortable. Maybe that means to wiggle, maybe that means to shift, or even stand if that's necessary. But I'll leave it up to you. There's no right or wrong. and also inviting us to close our eyes if that makes us even more comfortable. A breath for the ancestors that we all represent and bring into this space and community. Breathing in and out. A breath for the indigenous people of our past, our present, and our future to come, and this land that we are so gracefully and gratefully and lucky to be on. Breathing in and out. Okay, on to the script. Thank you so much for joining me with that. I hope that felt great. As Ron shared, the House of Glitter has had quite the journey over the last few years. We're feeling so energized. Sorry, a little sensitive. I know phones are a bit much, but maybe this is an example to remind ourselves that phones aren't just our connection to people, but rather a tool for life, depending on your relationship with it. So we're feeling energized and motivated from everything we've been learning. I'd love to introduce two of my fellow co-founders and co-directors. Here's AM, and there's Trent. You'll get to learn a little bit more about them a little later. And also here with us are two of our performance lab members, Cheska, who is over there, and Atlas in the back over there, who is our production manager. I just want to thank them for being here as well. So Trent and AM will be sharing some excerpts from our historical fantasy dance opera, which you can learn a lot more about on our website. Trent will be performing a scene that explores the intersection of his indigenous and West African lineage. And AM will be performing a song written by his great-grandfather who is descendant of the islands of Cape Verde. And the song is about the power of a mother's love. So in our historical fantasy dance opera, AM's mother would originally normally be performing alongside them, but unfortunately they couldn't be here today. But no worries, you will hear her voice in the track, just so you know. And I'll just let the art, I'll let the art speak for itself. And without further ado, we can start. So DJ or sound guy, track one, please.
Tanto Toba Nien Awa Ian Ewachim Nias Papa Umash Escuta Squash Toba Nien Awa Ian Iksa Out Wechekam Toba Nien Awa Nien Nepawas, na neposhat, anox sak. Baba nien awa ien, awam moash, aho.
I am the descendant of Destiny Ann Robinson and J.P. Perry, raised by Polly Ann Lee. I am the descendant of the river of the mermaids of the Narragansett and the Niantic. I am the descendant of the unknown, unnamed, untraceable black mermaids. I was born on this land, escaped to the coast, reborn at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. I was reborn from the space where the river meets the sea, where the merfolk be. My people knew of them, and they knew of me, a warrior. When the outsiders arrived, I didn't get a chance to kiss my children goodbye. But I saw the look in their eyes. They knew I would risk my life. I swore to protect my land. Bloody and injured, with one hand, I saw my loved ones, my friends, my tribe, wiped out. But I survived, and my children. I saw the look in their eyes. They said that they remembered mine. They survived by the love of their mother, said the merfolk at the space where the river meets the sea. The keepers of knowledge, who gift me messages, stories of my descendants, as we call them to the waters, from the constant grief of colonization. My great-grandchild today, born from a mother's love that looked like letting go. He was born from the edge of our galaxy, the intersection of Africa and indigeneity. Raised by the river, raised by the oceans he didn't know existed. He was forced to go to school, to strip him of his native ways, to relearn his beauty as savage, criminal, to save him, to educate him. A system designed to murder him if he did not conform, yet at the same time a system designed to withhold from him. Forced him into a desk to practice silent obedience, without teaching him to read, to think for himself, to question, to keep him asleep from the power he has within. No state can achieve proper culture, civilization, and progress as long as Indians are permitted to remain. U.S. President Martin Van Buren. To obtain control of the Indian at a very early age, seclude him as much as possible from the tribal influence. William T. Harris, U.S. Commissioner of Education. If the Great Spirit had desired me to be a white man, he would have made me so in the first place. Sitting Bull, Hunk Papa Sioux. We come in peace, is what they said, as they arrived on their ships to the sacred land, to break bread with man, to acknowledge the land, and elders sharing cosmic wisdom, only to be stabbed in the back, used like cattle, abused, systematically murdered, stealing our blood, bones, and energy. Some chose death over shackles. He may not know. He is the descendant of the mermaid who wasn't meant to breathe free. Come, breathe with me. Come, breathe with us.
We're expected to follow their rules to the T.
If we don't, criminal.
Feedback is criminal.
Critical thought is criminal.
Questioning is criminal.
However, I think the true crimes begin when they arrived in our birthplace.
However, I think the true crimes began when they bombed our motherland.
The space where the river meets the sea. Genocidal colonization began when they arrived. It never stopped. It continued to schools, to prisons, to militaries. Kidnappings, torture, rape, unpaid labor.
The systematic destruction of our planet. Yet, I was locked up as a child for trying to survive in a system designed to traumatize me, to poison me, to hate myself.
Who was telling who what to learn? Expected to follow a system.
Expected to define our worth by a system designed to destroy our true nature. White saviors?
In a blink of an eye, we were wrapped around the arms of white men. We are artifacts. We are the resilience of white supremacy, of the Cultural Revolution. We were never savage. Is it resistance when all the rules are against you? Is it stealing if you're starving? Is it trespassing if you're homeless?
Is it disobedience if you're screaming for help? We are the mermaids who didn't ask to be saved.
We were reborn in the House of Glitter Mermaid Empire.
At the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
I am the descendant of Joaquim do Livramento Jr., born in São Nicolau, Cabo Verde. Maker of word and sound, I am here, now. After sailors and whalers and tales of gorgons, archipelago, the coast of West Africa. He was born from the sound of sirens, Joaquim, the islands of Pico do Fogo, of volcanic flames that would light the way for commanders on slave ships on trips to the States. The dreams of families before me were dreams of love and freedom. Reminders of tales we told, the songs we hold, the rhythms in our hips and feet, the beats that we keep in our hearts, the ships that caused my ancestors to flee. Remembering the warning screech, the sirens heed, taken from land to sea. Deep down, I always knew a mother's love could free me. I am the descendant of divine femininity, the queer and trans freedom fighters who came before me, known and unknown. Black mermaids whose mothers held power. The mother's love is ours, always. I was born in the House of Glitter mermaid empire at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. This song was written by known Cape Verdean musician Joaquim, my great-grandfather, and his mandolin.
Amor demais é amor de valor, amor de gratidão é amor de dor, amor demais é flor cor-de-rosa, simples na jardim de seu coração. There is no one in this world who has a love as deep as is a mother's love, maternal love, a sacred love, a mother's love without illusion, always sweet from the core of her heart, transcending all suffering in times of trouble and sadness. A mother's love is a valued love. Romantic love can be a thing of pain. A mother's love is a rose-colored flower, always fresh from the bottom of her heart. Amor demais é amor de valor, amor di criciu, e amor di dor, amor di mai, e flor cor de rosa, simples na jardinha de seu coração. Amor de mãe e amor de valor, amor de cretiu e amor de dor, amor de mãe e flor cor de rosa, sempre na jardinha. Dice coração.
Wow. Sound guy, DJ, track 2, please. Yes, give it up again for AM and Trent. Whew. I want to invite us to do some more breaths, if you would. So again, make yourself comfortable, however so, whatever that means for you. Wiggle a little bit, shift around. I gotta pull my script. Sorry. Yes. A breath for the magic and the power and the inspiration of Black women, mothers, femmes, and femininity. Breathing in and out. A breath that we may all feel deeply into this experience of being together this week, because we are not going to think or write or simply read our way out of racism. We're going to feel our way through racism. So, with that said, a breath for the well-being of everyone here in this room today. Deepest breath in so far. Breathing in. And out. Thank you again. A little more background on the House of Glitter. For the House of Glitter, when we think about social movement, we pay a lot of attention to that word, that thought, movement. And we like to think that many of our problems in our world are choreographic issues. The choreography in this world might need a little bit more rehearsal, and that requires all of us. Not all of us are moving forward in unison with unity together, our country right now, and I'm sure y'all can feel it. We need, if not more, but better choreography. We need to be united. So for just a few minutes, we'd love to share with all of you an invitation, a call to movement. because y'all didn't think we were gonna let y'all sit down after all this, you know. And as many of us know, all dance and rhythm comes originally from Africa. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. The first dances and music were created from the heartbeat, from earthwork, from the household labor of tending to family, to community and our home, this earth. Dance and music remind us that we are alive, that we are together, hearing and feeling that same rhythm in unity with one another. And we'd love to share a brief piece of West African dance, a dance called D-Da-D, with you today. So I'll ask AM, wherever they've gone to.
They went to the back.
Okay. Well, I'll just keep going. We are sharing this dance with you to uplift the House of Glitter's heritage partner, the Yerodon Center in Mali, West Africa. And they do incredible community work. They do a ton of development work to preserve African history, culture, language, dance, and music. We work very closely with the Yerodon Center, and we lead trips to Mali. Well, we've led trips to Mali in 2022 and recently this year in 2024. In fact, we'd love to invite all of you to come with us to West Africa if you'd like. And we'd love for you to learn about culture, but also learn how you can support the Yerodon Center in the summer of maybe 2026, because 2025 is right here. So, you know, let's get to talking, and we'd love to make it happen. And yeah, I just will add that our House of Glitter, our legacy would not exist without the Yerodon Center of West Africa, Mali. And yeah, shout out to Seydou Koulibaly and Michelle Bak Koulibaly of the Yerodon Center. They are the founders and literally the people who helped to bring the members of House of Glitter together. So much gratitude to them. I just had to give them a noteworthy mention. With that said, are you ready, Am?
Yeah.
Okay. Sound guy, you can kill track 2 and start up track 3. Thank you.
So this is a call to movement, right? Our movement out in the world and our justice work and our organizing is not just y'all in the audience and watching the performers, but we want you all to join along with us. So I'll invite everybody to stand on up. And just to name some of these dances that we do from our traditions in Mali, West Africa, have been done for hundreds of years, right? And a lot of this footwork you might notice in other dances. I'm gonna invite us to, if you're on this side of the room, face in this direction. If you're on this side of the room, face in this direction, just to give yourselves a little bit more space. And I'm gonna start with just a little bit of footwork that we all can follow along to. Does that sound okay? Okay, so we're tapping twice to the back, to the front, to the back, to the front. Tap twice, tap twice, tap twice. And you'll notice that front and back lean, right? So if you're on this side, and if you're on this side, we might not be all in unison, that's okay. Find the music, find the rhythm. I see the feet tapping twice. We got it. Okay, now if we feel good with the feet, I'll invite some arm work. This is a dance called D-Da-D. You want to say it with me? D-Da-D. Yes. Yeah, the next step of this dance is to clap and then point. Clap, point. You can add a little shoulder if you want to. Add a little swag. And if you want to feel more energized, get into it. Bend the knees a little bit more. Go a little deeper. All right, yes. Give yourselves a round of applause. That is D.D from the Mande traditions in West Africa. Thank you for joining us. Stay on your feet. We're going to move a little bit more. Yes, we're going to take you through a little bit of a history. DJ, if you could bring the music back down. Thank you. Okay, so we're basically this is so hard to do in a short amount of time. We love to offer this with our audiences, with our communities, to bring people on a journey of dance history. And as most of us probably know, dance and rhythms come from West Africa. All of this, the movements, and especially in the contemporary music that we hear today, has roots in Africa. And so we're starting there and we will end. And if there's a camera, we're gonna, so we start in Africa and we will end in a little bit more of a contemporary space. But the middle point there is we're gonna share a little bit of merengue with you, right? So when you move from this space of, kidnapped West African folks from the coast of Africa, bringing them into the islands, and we have folks from different parts of the world in, working on the same fields. And these steps in merengue, it's very simple back and forth step. It comes from ankles being shackled together. And it comes from, this idea that if we're working together and we're doing something like assembly line style, we might as well be in rhythm. We might as well sync up to each other. And we might as well refuse the downside of it all a little bit and bring some joy, right? I remember this coming up earlier from Dr. Jackson, who spoke to the refusal and to this joy part that doesn't take away the sadness and the real hardships that folks were going to, but to live in a moment of joy where you can find that and to sync up with one another and to find that rhythm felt like an important piece of what brought merengue into where it is today. It's a celebration. We do it at parties, we do it at the quinceañeras, we might do it at weddings, and
we do it everywhere.
We do it everywhere. So dancing merengue in the fields, connected by the shackles, folks moving through space found a rhythm. And this very simple back and forth, I'll invite you to just join me, stepping right. And just take a moment to be with that sound. And take a moment to maybe call in the ancestors. I don't know, any of us who might have this in our blood and our lineage. We might and might not even know, but just to hear them in the space with this very simple rhythm in silence, just for a moment. And take a moment to imagine what that might have been like for folks together in space and finding this. Okay, I'm gonna bring some joy into the room. You can start to play the track and then you wanna walk us through merengue?
You knew this was coming.
Walk us through it.
I'll read us through. Okay, so obviously you got the right and left down a little bit. So what you can do to add a little bit more sauce is involving the hips into those steps. So kind of a weight shift, right, left. So adding the hips and taking your time and listen to the rhythm. Do you want me? All right. Looks like we're getting the rhythm. So I'll invite us to bring the hands up and then bringing them back down and back up again and back down. And we'll turn to our left.
Your left.
And then turning to the right. Now turning to wherever direction you want to face. Very simple, very unison. There's a lot of things you can do. You can basically mess with facial expressions. You can shimmy the shoulders. You can go backwards. You can go forward. Let's experiment. Please take it upon yourself. It is your body, not ours.
Yes, feel free to take up space. And let's give maybe like 30 seconds to a minute. Find a partner if you want to grab hands. Yes, sir. If you want to find your rhythm with another person, give them a twirl. Let's go.
Porque mande, mande, quien mande, en el mundo siempre habrá buena gente, mala gente, el que niega, el que miente, sabio, necio, indiferente, tabaco y ron, tabaco, 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 tabaco y ron, tabaco, tabaco, pero tabaco, tabaco y ron. Esa amargura, esa amargura.
Yes, y'all look so beautiful.
Lleva, compadre, tu cruz y no se la des a nadie, y no se la des a nadie, y no se la des a nadie, que todos ya llevamos una cruz.
All right. You can turn the music down. Give yourselves a hands applause. Yes. All right. So we brought you from Africa. We brought you into the practice of merengue and how dance practice has moved its way. Also, just to name, merengue is one of those dances that have been preserved. You know, as was said a couple of times in discussions and panels, that on most plantations, music and drumming and dancing were illegal, outlawed completely, and sometimes punishable by death. And so people preserved these dances under the light of the moon, you know, back in the woods, and found space and time to connect with each other and to continue such an important part and heartbeat of what makes us who we are as humans, right? And so it's really is a sacred practice that has been preserved and brought to us, and feels so important for us to share the knowledge on that. And when you go to your next party, your next quince, wherever you're at home and you throw on tobacco your own and you just remember that and have those folks with you, yes. That hardship, but also that joy as well. So then this brings us into hip hop. It's a contemporary dance.
Hip hop. Well, first of all, let's definitely remember this. Remember where this comes from. Let's remember who this comes from and what it means for us to be doing this. With that said, one more breath for all of those ancestors who literally risked their lives so that we are able to enjoy this together today. Breathing in and out. Hip hop. Hip hop. I just want to say, for transparency, obviously I'm not black, but in spite of that, in spite, I am a first generation American born, therefore I am a product of America now. With that said, my culture wasn't simply what was presented to me at home, but I was lucky enough to be able to embrace and witness and experience and learn about Black and brown culture, which I will forever be grateful for. And moving forward, so it is so beautiful to dance for y'all. We don't really have to talk about that. From this chapter of slavery, many new music and dance traditions were born. Did you know, well, something that I learned is that step dancing, or stepping, as you might know it, was a dance created on plantations in the face of drums being criminalized and taken away from those enslaved folks. So stepping was literally what they were like, you know what, we're gonna do it anyways, and we're gonna do it together. And that's where stepping comes from. And this legacy of creating rhythms and joy continues into today with a lot of, probably the majority of dance styles that you might be familiar with, such as hip hop, jazz, modern dance, swing, dance hall, vogue, even contemporary. All sorts, all places, all forms take from African styles and culture. Truth. Well, with that said, we have another invitation, because from the African roots of all dance comes merengue, a dance for community organizing, safety, and connection. And then in part from merengue and all these other dance styles came hip hop. Again, as many of us might know or might understand, hip hop, maybe not formally, but was something that began as a civil rights movement. Hip-hop was created to build a bridge across communities of color, to organize against the police state, to advocate for freedom, healthcare, well-being, to create our own economies, and to build systems of self-governance that reminded us that we are not each other's enemies, and in fact, we are even stronger together. So from the DJ to the look of hip-hop, which is graffiti, to the movement, which is the breaking, quote-unquote breakdancing, and the MC. Hip-hop is about expression, it's about community, it's about capacity to come together and move forward towards a more just world. Adding to that, the five principles of hip-hop, I just named the 4 elements, which is DJ, graffiti, breaking, and MC, but there are 5 principles of hip-hop that really make up the energy of it, which is peace, love, unity, respect, and having fun. And what that is a formula backwards. If you're able to have fun, you're able to respect one another. If you're able to respect one another, you're able to unify. If you are unified, we have the opportunity to love each other. And with love, may we find peace. If we're going to fight for a better world today, we have to first have the creativity to imagine a better world, and then to actually dismantle and build together. So we'd love to invite everyone to build together and create a little dance party, and maybe have a little runway moment if y'all are up to it. Consider this a rehearsal for our collective freedom. May we step into our power and ferocity in this dance party. May we remember what it means for, on an ancestral level, for us to be organizing ourselves in this way, to be calling on the wisdoms of this movement, to be dancing forward together in unity, care, and joy. Before we move forward, there's no right or wrong. You're probably thinking more about how you look yourself than anyone is thinking about how you look. And same goes for everyone else here. So please, there's no expectation. You don't need to get up. You're not obligated to do anything. But the invitation is there. And if you feel like you want to be part of this, then please join us. I think that's it. I had new track.
Hit the track, and everybody Well, not everybody, but whoever wants to.
No. Everybody.
Rise on up out of your seats.
So we're gonna create a little runway, maybe down this aisle right here. So if you're interested in joining us in this runway, maybe just lining up on the side. Otherwise, dance in place, dance where you are. I'm sure you know this song.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Let's go, Am. I see you. Okay.
Who's that?
Take your time. This is a party. Yeah, I know you feel it.
Hey, I see you.
Hey. So beautiful.
This is like a Soul Train runway right here. Look at that. Let's go.
I see you, Ron.
I see you. We see you. Let's go, OG. I see you.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Hey.
That's right. If you're not dancing, you gotta show love, and we'd love to see it. Thank you.
Hold on, let me get around. Let me get up in there. Hold on, let me get around there.
No one says you can only go once. Keep going.
Up in there too. Let's go. Yes, gonna work. Okay, okay. Hey!
Let's go.
We need to get this fucking drummer song. Can we get this fucking drummer song? Can we get this fucking drummer song? Give me a little bit, give me a little bit.
Who's that drum?
Is that bad? Give me a little bit. Who is it?
Get it, get it, get it, get it. The line don't stop.
Oh, we are so sorry to cut this short, y'all. Give yourselves a round of applause. And thank you so much for joining us in the movement, for joining us in this moment of unity, for joining us in this moment of joy. We really appreciate it. If y'all want to take a moment to come back to your seats, settle down a little bit.
Maybe take a sip of water if you got it.
Yeah, I can close us. Let me just look at the script real quick.
Thank you. So much gratitude.
Yes, I'm just feeling so grateful. I'm so inspired and moved by everyone here. Thank you. Honestly, thank you so much. Thanks for having us. Thanks to Ron. Thanks to the Whitty Museum.
Yes.
Thanks to SACAM. Thanks to San Antonio, Texas. Thanks to all the amazing people who came out here this week and, you know, got up here and preached.
Yes.
Because I was like, dang. I was like, yo, this is a lot. Like, this is intense, but this is real. I'm really vibing with it. I'm really feeling whole in my heart. It's really full. And I'm just, you know, contemplating how I'm going to debrief or unfold all of this. I got to go through my journal, my mind for the next week. With that said,
I also just want to like personally thank Miss Arenetta Pierce, like like the mother, chair mother of it all, and to not have my mother here for that song is hard for me, but it felt so wonderful to have you to kind of dedicate, right, this song to the motherhood that I know you have 2 sons as well, but that you bring into your work and into this organizing work, into this justice work. So thank you on behalf of everyone in this room. Yes, thank you.
Before we let y'all go, talk to us. And we'd love to collaborate. We'd love to work with you. We'd love to hear about who you think we should be working with. We want to be spending more time here in South Texas. We want to be creating big things, not just for us, but we want to be creating space for y'all to shine and, you know, be honored and to be recognized. And y'all truly deserve that. So we're hopeful that we'll build a sense of connection and community here as we move forward, as we continue to grow this relationship with South Texas. And yeah, you can look us up, House of Glitter, HAUS, House of Glitter.org. You can learn a lot about what we're doing across many states, internationally, in fact, learn about how you can get yourself to Mali in 2026, West Africa, if you're interested. You can learn about all the works that we've done and all the many things that we have going on and yet to come. That it? That's it. We're the House of Glitter, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. OG hat.
I hope you all enjoyed that call to movement. You know, I had a whole bunch of things I was gonna say real quick, but I just want to say we are community now, right? We are one community, and that was our call to movement, right? So we got to move around, get to feel each other, get to know each other, but now is our call to action, and so we have about a few minutes just to take everything off the stage and clean up, but it's time for our call to action. It's time to get back to work, talk about what we're gonna do going forward. So just give us about 10 minutes, and we'll see you again.